welcome into another fabulous episode of Win Leo's Money. I'm Jake the Snake Robinson out of Pawleys Island, South Carolina, high atop the Robinson Gearing Studio Complex. And I'm joined, as usual, with my trusty cohort, my man, Bells out of Dewey, Arizona. What's up, Brian Belsito? How are you, brother?
What's up, Jake? I'm doing well. It's a beautiful Saturday. I'm ready to see if Jim Chalmers can take down Leo. Let's do this, man.
We need this. I mean, one of these Americans have got to step up. By the way, Bells, you're square there. It's kind of dark today. Usually you're bright and sunny. You all right, man? You're like a brooding Bruce Wayne. Something's going on over there. You okay?
We're good. We're good, man. It's all love up in here, man. We're good.
I got you. I do the same thing. You know me, man. I sit in the dark and I get on a microphone. So, it's not weird to me. I'm just saying it might be weird to Jim, but it's not weird to me. I get it, dude. It's cool. Like I said, I'm Jake Robinson. We're from the Let's Talk Baseball Podcast Network. This is another show another edition of Win Leo's Money, which could be possibly the last one. I might bring it back in some kind of form down the road. There is a caveat to this one, though. Should Jim actually beat Leo, we're going to let Jim face off against Mark in the Tournament of the Victors, and whoever wins that, you can take on me, and Brian will host the show. So a little incentive for you to win today, Jim.
That's awesome.
One of you have got to step up, okay? By the way, I don't know if you saw Adam Jones hit his first home run this week in the Japanese League. And I think we have some video footage of it. Hold on one second.
レフト後方に上がっている。どうかホームランゾーンに軽く届きました。ホームランジョーンズオープン戦第1号ツーランホームランが出ました。ゆっくりダイヤモンド一周してホームに帰ってきました。ホームインジョーンズ。
I mean, he just absolutely hammered that pitch. High fastball. It looks like he can still get around on a fastball. What do you think, Jim?
Oh, absolutely. But also, he also got around some buffets, man. He has put on some weight in Japan, for sure.
He is definitely hitting the sushi bar. I hear you, brother.
I miss Adam Jones. I really do, man. One of the greatest trades in Orioles history.
Yeah.
I was bragging to Bells about the other day. George Sherrill, Chris Tillman, and Adam Jones for Eric Bedard. I mean, that's highway robbery.
I know. That's probably the best trade we've done in a long time.
Long time.
Yep.
All right, bro. Well, you're an Orioles fan. Leo's an Orioles fan. We're going to go ahead and get this game started off with no delay. And then we'll get Leo in here. We'll get him going, and then we'll talk a little Orioles baseball on the back end. I'm sure you know the rules by now. There is no time limit, but the time does become a factor. If you guys tie, whoever has the best time can win. You can pass. You can go back. You can stop the clock at any time. I'll tell you when it's the last question. If you have passed, I'll say this is the ninth question. And then when I finish that question, I'll ask you if you want to go back to any that you may have passed. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. It is now time to play Win Leo's Money. All right, Jim. What was Carlton Fisk's uniform number while playing for the White Sox?
72.
Who was the first player to hit 50 home runs, 50 doubles in a season?
Barry Bonds.
What Baltimore-born player is the only player to record his 3,000th hit in Memorial Stadium?
Herman Killebrew.
Babe Ruth was the first player to hit 500 home runs. Who was the second player to hit 500 home runs?
Eddie Matthews.
What Orioles pitcher led rookies with 15 wins in 2002 and finished second in Rookie of the Year voting?
2002. Pass.
What former Red Sox is the only player to lead his league in triples, home runs, and RBI in the same season?
Fred Lynn.
Who was the first manager to win Manager of the Year 4 times?
Tommy Lasorda.
Who was the last pitcher to win 30 games in a season?
Benny McClain.
The last question, 9th question. In the John Fogerty song Center Field, there are 3 players that are mentioned. Name one of them.
Willie Mays.
You want to go back to your one question?
I mean, I feel like I should know that one.
What Orioles pitcher led rookies with 15 wins in 2002 and finished second in Rookie of the Year voting?
Man, Bob Milwaukee.
Stop the clock.
3 minutes flat.
3 minutes flat. It's tough under the pressure, isn't it?
It is. It is.
How many do you think you got?
I think I got at least 3.
That's what you got. You
Okay.
got 3 right. The first question, what was Carlton Fisk's uniform number while playing for the White Sox? 72. You got that correct.
Right.
Who was the first player to hit 50 doubles and 50 home runs in a season? You got that wrong. It was Albert Bell, 1996.
Wow.
What Baltimore-born ball player is the only player to record his 3,000th hit in Memorial Stadium? You got that wrong. It's Al Kaline.
That was the other name was in my head.
Yeah. Babe Ruth was the first player to hit 500 home runs. Who was the second slugger to hit 500 home runs? The answer was Jimmy Fox. You got that wrong. What Orioles pitcher led rookies with 15 wins in 2002 and finished second in Rookie of the Year voting? Rodrigo Lopez.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. What former Red Sox is the only player to lead his league in triples, home runs, and RBIs in the same season? It was a good guess. You said Fred Lynn, and he's more of a triple guy that I think of than this guy. The answer is Jim Rice.
Wow.
In 1978.
Wow.
He had like 15 triples. Wasn't it 15 triples that year, Bells, or something?
Yeah, it was 15
like
triples in back-to-back seasons, and those were his only double-digit
30
seasons.
triples in 2 years.
Wow. Yeah, I would have never guessed him.
Yeah. Who was the first manager to win Manager of the Year 4 times? You said Tommy Lasorda. That's wrong. The answer was Tony La Russa.
Okay.
Who was the last pitcher to win 30 games in a season? You got that right. That's Jim McClain. And in the song, in the John Fogerty song Center Field, there are 3 players named mentioned. Name one of them. You got that right, Willie Mays.
Okay.
So you got 3 right. I think these are tough questions. I think Leo's going to have a little hard time here. Keep a poker face. Let's go ahead and bring Leo in here.
Letting him in now.
Let's see what happens. See if that's good enough to get Chalmers into the Tournament of Victors with Mark. There's my friend, Mr. Jade out of Melbourne, Australia. How are you today, brother?
Yes. Hi, Jake. How are you? Hi, Brian. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Leo.
here. A bit chilly this morning for my taste, but all good.
You got a jacket on. Is it chilly down there and down under Australia?
Yeah, it's about 38 degrees Fahrenheit.
All right, I'm an
So,
idiot. What is
yeah.
that? What
Yes.
is that in like?
I know,
It's
but it's not. I
Celsius.
don't.
What do we?
I don't. Huh?
What's that in our temperature? 38 degrees.
Sorry.
Didn't Midnight Oil have that song 38 degrees in the shade or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
35 degrees. Yeah.
But the thing is, the 38 degrees in their song are Celsius, so that's warm.
Okay.
That's warm. We got 30. We got 38 Fahrenheit now. See, which
Right
is
on.
chilly for me. Yeah.
Well, Leo, I don't know if you've ever met your opponent before. This is Jim Chalmers. Jim is actually an Orioles fan too. Jim went to high school with me. We played a lot of little league against and with each other. Hey, Jim, by the way, why don't you give me a true scouting report on 13-year-old Jake? Go ahead, hit me right between the eyes. Let's be honest. What do you got?
Scrappy.
That was scrappy.
Catcher. Always in the game. Always knowing what's going on. I mean, one of the best teammates I ever had. Always positive. Always trying to keep everybody going forward. Yeah.
Shitty runner though, right? Shitty base runner.
Oh yeah. Me and you were horrible. We'd clog up the bases when you and I were on the bases.
I'm a catcher. What do you expect? All right, Leo. Let's do it, brother.
Okay, let's go.
We're going to get right after it. Then we're going to talk a little Orioles baseball today. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, Leo, you know the rules. 9 questions. The time is 3 minutes. That he set the bar at 3 minutes. And we'll begin the clock after I ask the first question, okay?
Yep.
Here we go. What was Carlton Fisk's uniform number while playing for the White Sox?
27.
Who was the first player to hit 50 home runs, 50 doubles in a season?
Albert Bell.
What Baltimore-born ball player is the only player to record his 3,000th hit in Memorial Stadium?
Cal Ripken Jr.
Babe Ruth was the first player to hit 500 home runs. Who was the second slugger to hit 500 home runs?
Jimmy Fox.
What Orioles pitcher led rookies with 15 wins in 2002 and finished second in Rookie of the Year voting?
2002. I'll come to that later.
What former Red Sox is the only player to lead the league in triples, home runs, and RBIs in the same season?
Jim Bryce.
Who was the first manager to win Manager of the Year 4 times?
Sparky Anderson.
Who was the last pitcher to win 30 games in a season?
Danny McLean.
In the John Fogerty song Center Field, there are 3 ball players mentioned. Name one of them.
Jackie Robinson.
Do you want to go back or do you want to stop the clock?
Let's go back to the Orioles question, 2002.
What Orioles pitcher led rookies with 15 wins in 2002 and finished second in Rookie of the Year voting?
Went blank. I would like to say Mac Mussina, but it was Eric Bedard. Eric Bedard.
Stop the clock.
Yeah.
2 minutes and 33 seconds.
That was a good time, Leo. How do you feel like you did this week?
3 or 4.
Well, Leo, you got 4. And that was good enough to beat Jim by 1. You won today 4-3.
He pulled out that Jim Rice one. That was
I know.
money.
Yeah,
That's
that was a
tough
big
question.
one. That was a huge one. All right, let's go back and do the answers, all right? What was Carlton Fisk's uniform number while playing for the White Sox? You said 27. That was his Red Sox number. His number with the White Sox was 72. And due to a clerical issue, Carlton Fisk was declared a free agent after the 1980 season. He wore 27 for the Red Sox for most of his career. But when he got to the White Sox, pitcher Rich Krevka already had that number. So he had to flip to 72. And 72 had meaning for him. He won Rookie of the Year in 1972, and his son Casey was born in 1972, so he adopted the number 72. Who was the first player to hit 50 home runs and 50 doubles in a season? You got that right. The answer was Albert Bell. 1995, Albert Bell had 50 home runs, 52 doubles, and he led the league with a .690 slugging percentage. He did, however, finish second in MVP voting to Mo Vaughn.
Yeah, which I think was shouldn't have been. Yeah.
What Baltimore-born ball player is the only player to record his 3,000th hit in Memorial Stadium? I knew that was going to be a tough question. Neither one of you got that right. It was Al Kaline, the pride of Westport. He hit that off of Dave McNally, September 29th, 1974, in a 5-4 loss to the good guys. Babe Ruth was the first player to hit 500 home runs. Who was the second slugger to hit 500? You got that right. The answer was Jimmy Fox. I was looking at the box score on it. So check this out. September 24th, 1940, Red Sox versus the A's. By this time, Fox is on the Red Sox. They used to play for the A's. They're playing at Side Park. He hits it off a pitcher, Jim Castor. And the Sox wind up winning that game 16-8. Now, what I found remarkable about that game was that Ted Williams was the number 3 hitter, Jimmy Fox was the number 4 hitter, and Joe Cronin was the number 6 hitter, which is just crazy. Yeah. Castor gave up 6 home runs that day, 2 to Ted Williams, 2 to Joe Cronin, Bill Tabor, and Jimmy Fox. Remember we were talking about Bill Tabor last night on the phone, Brian?
Yeah.
He played a little left field when Ted Williams went away.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting stuff. What Orioles pitcher led rookies with 15 wins in 2002? Finished second in Rookie of the Year voting. Both of you got that wrong. The answer was Rodrigo Lopez. He went 15-9, and that was a god-awful fucking Orioles team. 3.57 ERA, 120 ERA plus, and a 1.19 whip. He came into second to Blue Jays' Eric Hinsky, by the way. What former Red Sox is the only player to lead his league in triples, home runs, and RBIs in the same season? Jim got that wrong. He said Fred Lynn, which I thought was a very good guess. But that was a hell of a gift for you, Leo. You got that right. The answer is Jim Rice. Jim Rice, 1978, 15 triples, 46 home runs, 139 RBIs. He also led the AL in extra base hits, total bases, slugging percentage, OPS, and he won the MVP. I mean, those are like
200 hits.
Those are like modern day numbers.
Right.
Honestly, those are like Manny Ramirez fucking numbers. Those are ridiculous numbers.
Yeah.
Who was the first manager to win Manager of the Year 4 times in a row? That was Tony La Russa. There have been 2 managers that have won it. Bobby Cox won it
We won it with Toronto in 85, 3 in Atlanta, 91, 2004, and 2005. However, La Russa was the first. He won the award in 83 with the White Sox, 88 and 92 with the A's, and in 2002 with the St. Louis Cardinals. Who was the last pitcher to win 30 games? You both got that right. Denny McLean, 1968, 31 and 6, 1.96 ERA, 336 innings, 1,288 batters faced that year, .91 WHIP, and a 154 ERA plus. Unbelievable numbers. That's the same year that Gibson went off, and they lowered the mound the next year. It's pretty debatable who had the better fucking year. I mean, those are 1,288 batters faced, guys, and a .91 WHIP. That's unbelievable. And the final question. In the John Fogerty song Center Field, there are 3 players mentioned. Name one of them. Jim got this right. Leo, you got it wrong. It's Willie Mays, Ty Cobb, or Joe DiMaggio. And it goes a little something like this. Here we go. All right. Well, I spent some time in the Mudville 9, watching it from the bench. You know, I took some lumps when the mighty Casey struck out. So say, hey, Willie, tell Ty Cobb and Joe DiMaggio, don't say it ain't so. The time is now for being coach. I'm ready to play. All right, you guys got it. So that's it, man. Another episode of Win Leo's Money. It was a good one. I think we're going to take a break from Win Leo's Money for a while. Maybe we'll bring it back some form down the road. But I definitely want to thank you guys for being here. We'll talk a little bit of Orioles baseball. We're looking good on some time here. First of all, I know that, Jim, you're coming out of Sarasota, Florida. If you had an up-close, personal look at Ryan Mountcastle, what are your opinions on Mountcastle from what you've seen from him?
I mean, he was tearing it up in spring training this year. I think he's everything that they've said he's going to be. He can just flat out hit. I don't know where he's going to play. I mean, they had him in left field a little bit. Honestly, they were trying to bury him this spring. They did not want him to get 80 at bats and have a huge spring and force them to pull him up. They were putting him in 5th, 6th inning. So yeah, he was never in the infield that I saw him.
Right, and now maybe with all the stuff going on with Mancini, maybe we can find a spot for him somewhere in there. I don't know, man. I think it's kind of a little disturbing that we still haven't found a position for this guy. When you saw him play, where did you see him? What position did you mostly see him in? Outfield, left field?
Yeah, they either have him pinch hit late in the game, or if he did come out in the field, it'd be in left field. I don't remember seeing him at first base or anything like that. So, yeah, I think that's what the idea is now. Is I would think would be left field, and I think you're right. Without Trey, and with the expanded rosters, maybe we'll get a look at him, and maybe they'll throw him out there this year.
Right, and I think that because I mean DH is going to be a tough battle. I mean, you've got Renato Nunez, who I'd rather never see him with a glove in his hand. Preferably, he's fine with a bat. 30 home runs, 90+ RBIs. Give me that, young fella. You know what I mean? But I think it kind of creates some, competition between him and Mountcastle. Now, Leo, who are some of the players that you're really interested in seeing in this 60-game season from the Orioles? What are you looking for from the Orioles in a 60-game season?
I really have hopes on Chris Davis coming back. The little bit I saw of him in the shortened spring training, I saw him swinging the bat very well. I think it's just a matter of confidence. So he has a natural swing. You cannot forget that. He's a beautiful swing. So I think it's a matter of confidence. So I don't know, after the Seoul hold up, I don't know how he's gonna be coming back. But I was looking forward to see him And
Right.
I have hopes on John Means on replicating his rookie season. I think the kid's a real thing. So I was looking forward to him, and I've always liked Anthony Santander. I think the kid's got the goods. He's a talent. It's just something interesting waiting to happen. And I don't know if do you reckon that we're gonna see. Well, now I don't think so, but I was hoping to see Adley Rushman at the end of the season called up. But I don't know what you think.
You might. I mean, he will be on the taxi squad, and the taxi squad will be players who are available should injuries or something like that goes down. But I think it would still be kind of ambitious to think that we might see Adley this year. Now, Jim, you did see Chris Davis in person, and you said he looked great.
He looked great. He was laying off the pitches in the dirt. He was at least twice he went deep to left center, which to me, that's the key. When Chris Davis is hitting the ball with power to left center, you know he's got, like Leo said, he's got the confidence.
Absolutely.
You know, that's, you go back to 2014, you know, those big years he had. That's left center field. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But he was doing that, and he
Should
looked.
we all give Brian Belsito the state guy because he has Mike Yastrzemski now?
Oh.
Hey, aren't we kind of? I'm like a blood brother of you guys because we all wear orange and black, dude. So
Yeah.
he's
I've always dreamed of an all black and orange World Series. I've always dreamed of this. It's the way it should be. Black and orange is the greatest baseball combination there is. I mean, bar fucking none. It's not even close. It's the most original. Well, you know, two teams have it, but it's still very original. Some pumpkin shit. I love it, but you know. Yeah, I mean, Chris Davis does look pretty good. Other than moving Yastrzemski, I'll start with you, Leo. What do you think about what Elias has done in the first 2 years?
No, I think he's done well. He's thinking rebuild. He did the right thing at the last draft. I mean, we had a couple of very good drafts. So yeah, I think he's thinking of the future. He moved everyone that needed to be moved to do a full rebuild. We had a couple 3 years ago. We should have traded for Manny. We should have traded for Adam Jones, for everyone else. But anyway, it's done now. All we have to do is sit and wait the results of these recent drafts. Yeah, I'm happy with what Elias has done.
Patience on our part.
Yeah. You have to be patient. Yeah.
Definitely got to be patient. And what about you, Jim? Like you've seen what Elias has done here. You know, and the funny thing is, the three of us, we don't even live in Baltimore. Well, Jim and I used to live in Baltimore, but you know, and maybe we're a little more patient because we don't live there. But I would really hope that the fans would be patient, right? I mean, for like the first time in a long time, the Orioles are going about things the right way. They tore it down, and they're building it the right way. Wouldn't you agree, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, and I get it, right? I mean, you know, when you live in that city, you went through, you know, the mid to late 80s, then you went through the late 90s for all the way to like 2012. But that was all, like you said, that was all, you know, they had no leaders. They had no idea. They had no plan. And this time, at least there's a plan. And, yeah, you know, you don't know, it may not work out like Houston's did or whatever, but at least you can see that they kind of have an idea of what they're doing. And, you know, I personally, the only thing other than the letting Gaz go, the only other thing I didn't really understand was I'm assuming the guys they got are all going to be quality, but time will tell.
Yeah, it will. Time will tell. Those two players will always be linked. Heston and Austin Martin. Those two guys are always going to be linked. We're always going to wonder what's the comparison between them two. But you and I know, man, it's a total crapshoot when it comes to the draft, man. Guys that are drafted number one. I mean, what was Mike Trout? He was what, 12, 13, 14, something like. What was Mike Trout? What he was like a high draft pick, right?
He was 17, 18.
You know, it's a total.
Mike Piazza was like a 62 or something.
Yeah, and that was a gift because he was like a godson of Tommy Lasorda or something like that.
Yeah. So.
Right. So
it's a
I mean, Now, let me ask you guys real quick. Leo, you think the Orioles trade Givens during the season? You think they trade some of these guys like Givens and the left-hander, what's his name, out of the bullpen? I'm drawing a blank here. You think they trade Givens? Yeah, Rocky Blar. You think they trade Givens, Blar? You think those guys get moved during the season?
If someone wants them, yeah.
I could see maybe New York.
Givens had a horrible season last year, so who knows? Yeah, they're probably gonna trade Givens. I don't know if Blar, but Givens they will. Yeah.
Yeah, because what do you think, Jim? It looks like Hunter Harvey is going to be the new closer of the future.
Yeah. I think if they get any kind of reasonable offer for either one of those two guys, Iglesias, I think they'll move them. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Right. And Hanser Alberto, we'll touch on him before we go. I think he's one of the best kept secrets in baseball. I mean, that guy just hammers left-handed pitching. And I don't know. I'm hoping that between him, Nunez, maybe a revamped Chris Davis. But I got to be honest with you guys. If the Orioles lose 40 of these games, I'll be fine. Because, I really think we need to really develop through the draft still. I don't think there's shortcuts there. I'd rather us not get hot and show some false gold. Now, Jim, you showed me, you were talking last night, and you said you looked at the Orioles' best 60-game stretch last year, and it didn't even come close to respectable.
No, I think it was maybe what I found was like 24 and 36, 25 and 35, something like that. It's not, maybe in a 16-team playoff it would have been enough, but it's there. I don't think there's really a whole lot of hope for that.
Hey, I want to add something in here real quick.
Yeah.
Mike Piazza was drafted in the 62nd round in 1988, the 1,390th player pick.
So it wasn't not 60. It was 62nd round. I remember the 62nd, but not 62nd round.
He is the deepest draft pick to ever make the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even close. He is the deepest one. It's so ridiculous.
And you're right. It was all about being related to Lasorda or like a friend of the family or whatever it was. His godson, right?
Unbelievable. Yeah. And some Italian kind of way. You know what I mean? How they are. They're tight-knit, so sure, it was like a Godfather kind of situation. Maybe Kurt fucking Bavacqua.
Hey, I learned something new on this show.
Took it to the draft that night.
I never heard of the scrub name you said that kept Carlton Fisk from keeping his number in Chicago.
Yeah, I thought the same. Who was
never even heard of that guy?
Didn't want to give the number back to.
I know. No.
Exactly. Before the days when stars would buy their number.
Dude, you're Ron Brevik. I mean, come on. I'm Carlton Fisk. Unbelievable. Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming out. It's been a great show. We're going to put this on a hiatus for a while. Take a little break. Leo, you stomped a mud hole in everybody's ass. You earned the right to be called the trivia master. And it's so hard to win Leo's money. Everybody talks about it all the time. Oh, I got this, I got that. But Jim will tell you, when you get here and the pressure's on, it's tough. I want to thank you guys for coming out. Jim, I love you, brother. It's so good to see you from my high school days. Leo, always love you down there in Australia. And Brian, you're the best producer I could ever ask for. I want to thank you guys for coming out. And parents, if you see your kid and they are sitting on the couch and they're looking bored, by all means, take them outside and play a game of catch. Thank you all for coming out. God bless.
Thank you all, guys. Thank you all. Another fun episode. Thanks.
See you. Thanks, guys.